Hi, I wanted to give an update on where I stood with 10Base2 and the progress of my all types of Ethernet projects. So at this moment, I have a network that is composed of 10Base5, and you have other videos to look at if you want to see how I did that, and 10BaseT. And then now I also have 10Base2 in the mix. 10Base2. So just a reminder, 10Base5 is thicknet, and it's the original Ethernet standard. And 10BaseT was a later standard, and actually the next standard that came out was 10Base2, which has been called thinnet. And so the network, which is behind me, and I'll show you, more details here. It starts from my production network, which is a 1000BaseT network, which is a pretty modern TP-Link hub. It goes into an allied Telesys hub. Actually, this is a switch. And this is a hub. And out the back of this allied Telesys hub, and I'll put AT there for allied Telesys, which is a company you may or may not have heard of. We used to use them a lot in the early 90s because they were reasonably inexpensive. Out the back of this is a cable. It's a thin net cable. So this is 10Base2. And it connects to another allied Telesys hub. And out of that is a 10BaseT link to a 3Com hub. Out the back of the 3Com hub is an AUI cable, which goes into a transceiver, which connects to a thicknet cable, very poorly drawn thicknet cable, which goes into another AUI cable, which goes into another hub. This one is an AT&T StarLAN hub, StarLAN 10, which goes into 10BaseT, which goes into a computer. And this goes out to the internet. This entire network here is one collision domain, one broadcast domain. There's no bridging at all in here. These are all independent Ethernet segments, all wired together. And if I did this right, which I believe that I did, I'm not violating any Ethernet rules around having too many repeaters or anything like that. So without further ado, let me actually show you the physical network, which is a little bit complicated, but we'll try our best here. Okay, I want to go over some of the equipment that I've got set up and kind of the current state of things, and then I'm going to add a little bit of commentary at the end about where I want to take some of this. So come on down to the floor with me. So the first thing, so this is a very suboptimal way of demonstrating this, and I'm trying to think about how I want to be able to maybe put this on a piece of plywood so I can move the thing around and demonstrate it. When I was originally thinking about building this, it was kind of as an educational tool for my students, just to kind of show them some of the historical Ethernet things. But as it is right now, it's just kind of a little bit of a mess of wires, so bear with me. So I'm going to start with the 10Base2 bit. So the 10Base2 is over here. It's connected on these two. Come on closer. It's connected on these two allied Telesys or allied Telesin, depending upon when they were made, hubs, and it's on the back. So we've got, this is just a hub, 10Base or a 10Base Ethernet hub. So it has connections for 10Base2 and it has connections for 10BaseT. This one's a 4-port, this one's an 8-port. And then it also has these AUI cables, and you can select either to use the 10Base2 connection, which I did, or you can select to use the AUI connection, which I didn't. And then these just connect to each other that way. Now, in a real 10Base2 network, you could have many, many more nodes. You could take these terminators off, and you could continue this chain of coaxial cable. But since I'm trying to just do a demonstration project, I don't really need to show more than 2 nodes. So these two connect to each other through that. Out the back of this is a 10BaseT connection, which goes back to this computer. And then out of this one is another 10BaseT connection that goes over to this 3-com hub. And then out the back of the 3-com hub is an AUI cable that goes into this 10BaseT 5 transceiver. The 10BaseT 5 transceiver connects via a thicknet cable, which is, I think I already mentioned, is not precisely the right coaxial cable used for thicknet, but it works. It goes about a little more than 2 meters over to, curls around here, goes over to this other thicknet transceiver. This comes out as an AUI connection, goes over into this AT&T StarLAN hub, which then the StarLAN hub connects up into that TP-Link switch up there, which connects to the internet. So this is just like I described in the drawing, except not quite as neat. So I really have to figure out a way of building some sort of apparatus so that I can both move it around and it's really clear where everything is. And I'm thinking about taking each individual one and strapping it down to a piece of plywood and then just being able to put it together on the fly. I haven't figured that out yet, but hopefully will soon. Come on over with me and just going to prove that this is actually all working. So this is a machine running Ubuntu, and I'm on a speed test. It's Ookla speed test. And if I just do a speed test, here we go. So not too bad. So it's getting about 6.5 megabits per second down. And as soon as we get done here, it should do about the same thing going up. Oh, it's even better up. And if you pan down, you can see the transceivers going as the speed test is running, and you can see all the activity on all these hubs. So it is really going across all these things. So there's our results, and there we go. All right, thanks. And the next step will be to connect some of the fiber optic things. So it's FOIRL is the first fiber optic standard, and the second standard is 10BaseFL. So I want to try to coordinate or connect those into here so that this continues to all work well. All right, thanks. See you next time.